Hello Roberts Crafters, this is Brett Lund with another Technique Try It Thursday, and today's tool that we're going to try is the Martha Stewart Craft Scoreboard. Now this is the scoreboard itself, and let me show you a few things about it first of all before I show how to make it. The thing that I like, one of the things I like the most is how many scored lines there are. They're actually scored. If you look at the top, it has a ruler. So right here we have 1 inch, and then we have 1/2 inch, we have 1/4 inch, and we have 1/8 inch. So each one of these lines means 1/8 of an inch. So it gives you a lot of options for different scoring. So playing around with your paper. That's one of the benefits that I really like about the scoring board. Another thing that I like is this little guy up here. This guy holds your bone folder right here. So it comes with a bone folder, so it keeps the bone folder in there. I like that because I know that when I'm done using the scoring board and I put my bone folder back, I know that I will always have a bone folder in there. The last thing that I thoroughly love that I'm going to demonstrate today is down here on this bottom corner. And if you slide it out, this is a little tool for making envelopes. So if you've ever made a card that you really don't have an envelope for, you know, a specific size, like I'm doing a lot of 3x3 cards and I want 3x3 envelopes, this will help us make them. And then when you're done, all it does is it just slides back in and it stores underneath it. Okay, now a few things that I have found with the scoring board that I wanted to point out. If you notice, I took a Sharpie and I drew straight down on some of the lines. The reason why I drew on these two lines is because these are some of the most commonly used scoring lines that I use in my crafts. And it just kind of helps me out. These ones are scored every 1/2 inch. And the reason why I score them every 1/2 inch is because a lot of times I do projects where I'm scoring things 1/2 inch. Now, you're probably saying, well, why does it really matter? Well, let me show you why. Let's say we put this piece of paper on the board and you want to score at the 6-inch mark, okay? Well, you're not quite sure, if you look down below, you're not quite sure which mark is the 6-inch mark. So if you go to one of my score lines, all I need to do is remember, okay, I put it on the marked line up here, and then I line it up with the marked line on the bottom, and then I automatically know that that is the correct line that I'm going to score. So it's one of those kind of little funky little things that really helps you make more scoring lines. Now another thing that I really like is this tool right here. It's from We Are Memory Keepers. It is actually a stylus, and the cool thing I like about this is it has 2 removable heads. This happens to be the smaller head. There's a larger head. The reason why I like this is this happens to fit in perfectly into the grooves. So it's a perfect match for the scoring board. Now you're probably saying, well, what's wrong with this scoring tool? Well, I'll be honest, the scoring tool is a great scoring tool, but I actually have 2 scoring boards, so this is one that I've hardly used. But with time, what happens is this little rounded tip starts to get sharp, and it starts to file it away to a point. And so I only like to use this for maybe making your creases or folding a crisp edge, something like that. But this is my favorite tool to use. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do 2 things. I'm going to show you how to do a basic score, and then I'm going to show you how to use the envelope. Okay, now basic scoring is super easy. All you want to do is you line up your piece of paper and you want to make sure that it's flush in the corner, because if it's not flush in the corner, then it will kind of screw things up. Now there's a project, and if you go onto the Roberts Crafts YouTube site, there's a project called A Never Ending Book that I make something with this. So check it out, it's a really fun project. So basically I'll show you how I started. You take up the line and you start, and then all you do is you just drag it down. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a very fine line right here. Okay. Super easy. Now, another little secret is if you're really particular and you want the perfect line and you don't want to waste, you have this fancy paper, what an idea is take some wax paper, rub it over the top, super light, and that kind of lets your stylus or your bone folder glide even better. Super easy. So, if you look on the back, you can see there is the score line right here. So our project is scored. And then the cool thing about this is it's figured out to 12 inches. So you can measure down, let's say we're doing 3, 6, 9, 12. So then you have 3, and then you go 6, and then you go 9, and then if you want to switch it around, you can move your piece of paper. So everything is contained right here. It's a super fun project. Now the last technique that I'd like to show you that like I said has rapidly become one of my favorites is the envelope maker. Okay, now it kind of looks a little overwhelming, but let me show you how it works. If you look right here, it says these are the envelopes for the dimensional cards. So if this right here, this is a standard envelope size. So these are your different ones. The ones that you'll probably use the most are going to be your A2. Okay, and then also sometimes I use the 6-inch square, but the A2 is the one that I use the most. So that means, let's say we're going to do the A2. We're going to start with a piece of paper 8.5 by 8.5. Now let me explain this right here. It says A score lines at 3 inches and B score lines at 3 5/8 inches. Now if you look right here, here is a little diagram. So your A score lines are going to be these guys, and your B square lines are going to be these ones straight across. I know it kind of is confusing, so let me show you how it works. What you want to do first thing is, if you look on the back, there's a groove. This groove is going to fit into this line right here. So basically what it does is it snaps into place, and then you slide it all the way up to the top. Super easy. And then you're going to take your piece of paper. Like I said, this is our 8.5 by 8.5, and we're going to mark it. If you notice, it fits in perfect, and it says for an A2 envelope, 8.5 by 8.5, A score lines at 3 inches. So what you're going to do is you're going to look for the 3-inch line, which is right here, and you're going to score down. Okay? Then, because this is the A, take your piece of paper and turn it automatically around. Okay? So our A score line was right here, and we're going to score it again at 3 inches. So we've scored, these are our A lines. Now we're going to score the B lines, which are these lines this way. And it says B is 3 5/8. So we line it back up. And you want to make sure that when you're lining it up, that it lines up on this corner right here, as well as this corner right here. I don't know if you can see that very well, but this corner right here, because if you don't line it up, what will happen is your lines will be crooked and your envelope won't have the perfect dimension. So for A2, it's 3 5/8. So 3 half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. You turn it around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there is our thing. Now the great thing is this guy, slide it off. If you look right here at the back, slides in, out of the way. Okay, so now if you look at the back side, you can see the score marks. So you have one here and one here, and then they go down. What you want to do is you're going to cut out these little notches. Now I've tried quite a few different ways to play around with this. These little notches, the reason why you're going to cut these guys out is because it's going to take away the bulk from the corners of your edge. So you just take your scissors, so we're cutting them out. Okay, so it's going to look like this. Now, what we end up doing, let me move this out of the way. Then we're going to start folding in our edges. Okay, so we fold in the bottom, and then we're going to fold in a side, and we're going to fold in another side. Okay, notice no bulk. That's what I'm talking about. If we had bulk there, it would be kind of bulging out. And then what I like to do is I'm going to take our adhesive, and I'm going to put adhesive on that side and adhesive on this side. And we're going to go ahead, you can use your scoring tool if you want. Score, make sure those edges are nice and crisp, and then you can fold it down. And there is the perfect envelope to fit the A2 card. Now, like I said, you can do this with any size. You just kind of have to play around with the edges. I do have on our blog that I'll actually post it with this. Is because I use 3x3, I've made the dimensions for a 3x3 card, which is really kind of fun. And that way, so if let's say you want your envelope to match your card, you can pair it up. Now, if you're really particular like me, what then I would do is I would take a piece of color paper and put it for the inside for the liner. And then all you do is insert your card, and there you go. I hope you've enjoyed playing around with the Martha Stewart scoring board. This is available in all of our Roberts Crafts stores as well as robertscrafts.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to come into any of the Roberts Crafts stores and you can play around with it and purchase one of your own. Until then, happy crafting.